Amazing host leading the ride. Power to the people we shine, giving fans what they need. Caribbean spirit, let's succeed. Every show with a good deed. Together we plant the seed. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride a sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride a sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host we belong. Ride along live, worldwide. Feel the beat, feel the vibe.
Hi, I want $10 on Playway, $20 backup on Pick 3, and cash for each, please.
Okay, are you adding multi-X to your bet?
Yes, multi-X, all of them.
Smart! Best value bet. Backup and multi-X, you cannot go wrong.
Don't matter the bet, multi-X all of the daily games.
With multi-X added, your winnings can be multiplied 3 times, 5 times, even 7 times. So make it a rule. Add multi-X to all your Playway, daily pick 3, and daily cash for bets every day and for every drop, and watch your money grow. Available at stores and online.
You heard it here. Multiply your winnings daily. Must be 18 or older to play. NLA, making your dreams come true.
Wow. Welcome to Ride Along Live. Yeah, wow. If you're watching right now, you may not understand what you're hearing. That's rain, thunderstorm. And it just so happened that I decided to do the show outside. And now I'm thinking it's not the best idea because the water's starting to kind of wet the cameras and the computers and stuff like that. So hopefully the rain simmer down a bit. Otherwise, I may have to change location. Okay. Let me. Yeah. All right, guys. So let's watch it still and see how it goes, because it's raining pretty hard here in St. George's, Grenada. Welcome to Ride Along Live, guys. Whoever doing the rain dance, stop it now. We don't need more rain. It was raining all day. I had so much things to do. I didn't even get to do all of it. And I should have known, I should have known that I should take the program inside today, but me trying to be adventurous, showing you guys, you know, everything. Trying to help you guys out. Yeah. Give me a thumbs up, guys, if you hear me fine, if you hear me properly. Because, as I said, it's raining really bad. It's raining really bad, guys. As you can see behind me. Oh, Lord. I think I need to block off the computer because it's getting wet now. Hi, guys. I'm thinking if I should change I'm thinking if I should change the area that I'm in, which would basically delay us a whole lot. I don't want to do that because today we're going to be speaking with Rodney George, who is important in this conversation. Lord of mercy, look at the weather outside. Hold on. All right, so Rodney George is the advisor to the Prime Minister in the Ministry of Infrastructure. I'm sure that you guys have been hearing a lot about contract and alleged corruption. And I think the best person who could really give us first-hand knowledge about this particular contract and the tendering process is Rodney George, because he was intimately involved in the process, right? He's the one who structured or put together the contract. He was intimately involved in who have knowledge on who bid for the contract and just the whole process. So I think that it would give a lot of knowledge and information to the conversation, right? Because there is a lot of talk going around about it, and this is part one of it, because we are very, very. It's important for us to do our due diligence to bring the information to you. So if there is corruption as alleged, we want to root out the corruption anywhere corruption lies, anywhere corruption is, right? And any one of our citizens should be interested in rooting out corruption wherever corruption is, if that is the facts, right? So I think let's get on with the conversation here. And so let me bring on Rodney George here. Rodney, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, considering the...
Hold on. Let me bring down my audio a bit. Yeah. All right, Rodney, you there?
Yeah, I said I'm doing fine, considering the weather outside.
You are doing much better than me, Rodney. I am, and I chose to be outside in the veranda, Rodney, and I'm getting washed away, literally.
Well, protect your computer, for sure.
Yeah, I have a little cushion here that's blocking the computer. Make sure you ain't get wet, but the camera is in front of me. My mixing board is safe, but I'm concerned about how the camera is doing, how the camera would hold up. But I think the computer is being protected a little bit here. I think everything is good. Okay, all right, cool. So let's go right into it, Rodney. Don't worry about me and what I'm going through here. I'm going to manage. Rodney, welcome to the program. And as I was saying earlier, again, I don't know if we're related. Rodney George.
Well, I think you have the look of the clan, so maybe you're related.
Yeah, possibly. Okay, so Rodney, let's get right into it because we have a lot of questions. We have a lot of questions in regards to this particular question of alleged corruption, right? First of all, tell the people who you are and basically as it relates to these particular contracts.
Right. Well, good. I guess it's good afternoon, Junior, and I guess good afternoon to those who are watching and listening to the program. First time I've been on your program, so that's a first for me.
Yes.
So I'm advisor in the Ministry of Infrastructure. So the ministry is the Ministry of Infrastructure, Public Utilities, Civil Aviation, and Transport.
Okay.
So, I've been involved in a lot of the infrastructure projects, especially some of the road projects that have been executed recently. And I guess the topic of conversation is the Cliff project, right?
Yes.
All right. So, I mean, I can give some background on that. I've heard in the media a lot of talk about corruption, and especially accusing Minister Williams. And I couldn't understand it because Minister Williams had absolutely nothing to do with this project. And just to give your viewers and listeners a chronology of how this project came into being. So the project was tendered, the Cliff project was tendered, and CCCI was one of the tenders. So all of the tenders were adjudicated or evaluated by ministry personnel. Ministry has, competent engineers on board. So they evaluated the project, or the proposal, sorry, and made a recommendation which they sent to the procurement board, so the procurement board can give a no objection to the evaluation. So this was done. CCCI was adjudged to be the bidder, the bidder with the best proposal.
Let me stop you right there because I want to take everything very, very in small bit-sized pieces.
Right.
When you say
Right.
tendered, explain the word tendered like if you're explaining it to a 2-year-old.
Well, tender means that you go out, you put out a. I wanted to use the word solicitation, but let me simplify it. You go out and ask contractors for an offer. You give them the scope, the terms of reference, and you say, we want to do this road. Give us a price for doing the work. And
Okay.
they make a proposal with a price for doing the work. That's simply what tendering means.
Okay. All right.
And then when the prices come in, there is an evaluation process. You make sure that whatever was in the tender documents or the documents that went out to bid, that the contractors meet the criteria, and you look at the price. So it's a number of factors that are taken into consideration to make the final decision. So
who goes out there and ask those contractors? Is it the minister himself? Is it the PS? Or who are these people who go out and request that information?
Well, usually it's the chief technical officer in the ministry that would basically put out the tender, except probably if it's a project that is financed by, let's say, the CDB, they might put out the tender. But in this case, in the case of the Cliff project, this is a project that, let's say, was being paid by the government, right? So basically that was it.
Okay, all right, no problem. So we understand that, and so in this particular scenario here, this is under the Ministry of Infrastructure.
Right.
Right. What role does any minister under this ministry play?
Well, the minister. Let me explain this so that people really understand. So once the project goes to the procurement board, and the procurement board say, okay, we have no objection, we look at the evaluation and we agree with the evaluation. When that happens, I'm going to talk specifically about this case because we normally meet with the minister once a week. It doesn't happen every week because he's a busy person and he has other commitments, but generally we try to meet with him once a week and we discuss various projects. And of course, in one of the meetings, we informed him that, okay, a decision was made on the Cliff project to award the project to CCCI. And of course, he would ask questions. You say, well, did the procurement board approve? And we'd say, yes, it went to the procurement board. He may even ask to see the evaluation. The prime minister is a very thorough guy. I mean, you don't just tell him stuff and he accepts it, right? So once that's done, the minister is informed, and the minister has trust in his technical people. So once the processes are observed, then he would say, okay, fine, and we go ahead. So what I'm trying to say is that I don't know where, I know Minister William Suddup in passing, but he was never involved. I mean, he's in a different ministry. I didn't even have a word with him. I'm the person who, once the decision was made, then I proceeded to prepare the contract. And once that was prepared and reviewed by, the CTO and the PS, then the PS basically signed it and CCC signed it, and that was it. So I don't understand when Minister Williams comes into this at
Right.
all.
So does the minister in that ministry influence the decision, or like does not influence the decision, recommend anyone?
No, the minister doesn't recommend anyone. I can tell you in other projects. I mean,
Uh-huh.
we have other projects that we're looking at where we've asked for proposals, and what we will do is that once we evaluate the proposals, we would present it to the minister, and he would look at it. If he has questions, he'll ask questions. If he has comments, he'll ask comments. He'll give comments, and that's it. I mean, as I said, he has trust in his technical people, and I can tell you, he's not a technical guy, but he always asks the right questions.
Okay, all right. So we get in that part clear that the minister in that particular ministry does not come to you as the person that is in a part of the technical team and recommend and say, okay, call John, call David, call Barry, and offer them or let them submit a bid. That didn't happen as a part of this particular contract.
Well, that didn't happen as part of this contract, and it doesn't happen at all. It doesn't happen at all. I've never, since the time I've been advisor, I've never heard the prime minister say, "Well, listen, I favor this person. Let's see if we can give this person, a deal." Never, never.
Okay. There's also allegation that the minister signed the contract behind the official minister back, or while the minister was away, that contract was signed. How possible is that?
Well, I mean, with respect to our viewers, I wouldn't characterize that by what I really want to say, but I'll just say that it's nonsense. That is complete nonsense, because once I prepared the contract, and of course that's after the decision was made, the procurement board gave their okay. Then the PS is the one who signs the contract, not even the minister. So I don't know where this thing comes in about signing behind anybody's back, because Minister Andy Williams did not sign this contract, and as I said before, he had nothing, absolutely nothing, to do with this clip. And I've also heard it mentioned about the True Blue project.
Yes.
Again, he had absolutely nothing to do with that. Nothing.
Right. I want to join in the conversation here a former PS, Mr. William Joseph. Mr. William Joseph is again a former PS. There, Willie, how you doing, my friend?
Yeah, well, I am good, I believe, giving thanks.
Thank you, Willie. You know, Mr. Joseph, we spoke earlier because I am personally here in Grenada trying to find on a fact-finding mission to try to understand this process of procurement and these allegations of corruption. You being a former PS, what's your take on the process in which this alleged this allegation goes? What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, well, let me first say thanks to for the opportunity to share. I joined at a point where Rodney, what I heard from him, I agreed with entirely. You have, and this is covered in law. There is the tenders board. It has a new name these days, and then there's a procurement act and so on and so on. So you have, if the process involves a request inviting prospective contractors to submit, their interests. All right, you have the committee would look at that, pre-qualify contractors based on the capacity and so on, and taking into account their reputations. Or here on the ground in Grenada, these things happen. But the real thing begins where the committee, the central committee of the tenders board, would do the evaluation of bids submitted by those contractors who had been pre-qualified. Right, their recommendations would go to the main tenders board. Right, and the tenders board, once they agree, would then submit their recommendations for approval to the cabinet. So the minister, no minister is involved in any documentary way regarding the preparation of contracts, the signing of contracts, and so on. That does not happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think culturally we would all understand that, and this is outside of the paper trail now, that you will have contractors who speak with Minister X or Y because they believe that or they think that when the thing gets to the cabinet, they would like somebody to give it, a particular individual to give it support. So you can have those kinds of informal contacts being made outside of the proper process itself. Okay, it's a cultural thing. I think it happens everywhere in the world. People need to understand that. But insofar as the official thing is concerned, once the cabinet would have given its approval, the actual contract is signed by the permanent secretary in the ministry concerned. That's where it's signed. Mm-hmm. The ministers don't sign contracts. They don't. Mm-hmm. So I think it's very, very clear. I heard Minister Andy Williams respond to this issue a few days ago at the press conference. And I did not disagree with him at all, which is really my understanding of the system for a very, very long time now.
Right. Mr. George, during this process, right, were there any red flag raised internally or externally during the procurement process?
No.
As it relates to the Cliff project?
No. I mean, we had one negotiating session with CCCI to try to get them to bring their price down, which they did a little bit. I mean, they were not obligated to do that because it was a tendering process. But no, there were no red flags. And I'm sure if there were, when the evaluation report went to the procurement board, they would have raised it, But they came back with basically a no objection, meaning go ahead, it's fine.
Right. And so, how many? Oh, go ahead, Mr. George. Sorry.
No, I was going to add that it's kind of sad and unconscionable that somebody could make these kind of accusations and besmirch somebody's character without the facts. And that's why I agreed to when you asked me, that's why I agreed to come on your show, because I've been seeing the news reports, and I mean this is terrible to mess with somebody's character like that, when you really have no evidence.
Right. Former PS Joseph, has anything changed? Basically, the operation now, right? And when you was a PS, have you noticed any change in the structure of the procurement process from then till now?
I don't think there's been any significant change. I know in my time, I don't think there was legislation dealing with procurement as detailed as it is now. So there is a specific act of the Parliament of Grenada dealing with procurement, right? So these things are all above board. And if anybody who wishes to learn or to be educated on the subject, you simply Google the thing and you read what the act provides. And typically it will lay out the process and who the competent authorities are and the stages in the process. So I don't know that there is anything that has been invented in recent years that different from what has been in place for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. George.
No, I was going to say that I think it's a good question that you asked, Mr. William Joseph, because I've never been in the public service. So I mean, I'm just relating the processes the process that I met there. But I think it's a wise question you asked to see or to compare what's happened today with what pertained in the past, and it seems as if it's pretty much the same process, except that obviously the Procurement Act has been passed, and I guess it has tightened the procurement process, maybe with the express purpose of weeding out any possible corruption.
So that means that there will be checks and balance
Yes.
to maintain accuracy. So what? Let's talk about the checks and balances. The checks and balances. What if the person in the procurement has a relationship with a particular contractor? How do we ensure that there are checks and balances so somebody can just send a friend inside to get the contract or push a friend forward to get the contract?
Yeah, well, as far as I wasn't involved in the evaluation, but the evaluation is not done by one person, it's done by a team in the ministry.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, it's done by a team in the ministry, and then sometimes the CTO is part of that team, and sometimes he's the one that does the peer review. So it's not to say it's a kind of one-man show. It's not that at all, you know.
Right. I asked the question earlier, Mr. Joseph, right, in reference to one person, an individual, a minister, taking it on unilaterally and signing a document behind another minister back. When a minister went away to New York or wherever the case might be, and that minister serving in the capacity of that particular minister would then sign a quick contract so that he could get a kickback. What are the possibilities of something like that happening?
You see, that is so absurd. Because in reality, what will take place is that once the contract is signed, meaning it's executed now, the both parties have signed. The Ministry of Finance, remember, the Ministry of Works or Infrastructure, properly called, they don't issue checks there, you know. Payments are made out of the Ministry of Finance. And the Ministry of Finance must have in their record the copy of the signed contract and the cabinet conclusion. So the Ministry of Finance will not recognize a contract signed by a minister, even if one were to assume that at the ministry level, the operational level, a PS allowed a minister to sign. The guys at the Ministry of Finance won't let that stand. They won't let that stand.
Well,
so
sorry.
Go ahead. No, Rodney, go ahead.
I was going to say to tell you, I was just thinking here to tell you how absurd this is. I mean, for a situation like that to happen, I'm just thinking aloud here, Minister Andy Williams would have had to go to the folks doing the evaluation and say, guys, listen, I want you to give CCC this project. And obviously that did not happen. So I just say that to say that, I mean, that is how absurd this accusation is.
Okay. We even have someone else I wanted to add on the call. We have the Chief Technical Officer. He's in China right now. I don't know if he's hearing me. Mr. Kevin Blash, are you there?
Hi, Mr. George, morning, and Mr. George and Mr. Joseph. Oh, sorry, good evening. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, you all the way in China. Could you turn your video on if possible, so you could join you on?
I was trying to connect it. I might have to disconnect and try to.
No, that's fine. Your audio is fine. We will just work with your audio. You are the Chief Technical Officer in the Ministry of Infrastructure. Tell us a little bit about what's the job. What is the chief executive officer, or does the chief technical officer? Sorry, does.
Well, basically, well, my role in the ministry is to oversee the work of the technical team. That relates to government buildings, road infrastructure, etc. It's a varied role. You manage people, you deal with projects, contracts, etc.
Right. So how does this particular alleged corruption falls into the project and that you oversee? What information do you have on that, and how did you play a role in making sure that project go through?
Well, let me just start by saying, right, some of the things that kind of have been, forming part of the narrative, as Mr. George and Mr. Joseph have told you, it's simply untrue. There is no other way to say it. It's actually, I don't want to say ridiculous, but it's actually a little ridiculous that we even have to have a conversation like this, right? Yeah, the process is somewhat straightforward, in terms of procurement. And just to update, even what Mr. Joseph said is that, remember, even cabinet cannot assign a contract to someone, right? It has to be any expenditure of government resources has to be approved by the procurement board.
Right. Okay. So not even not even the cabinet of ministers could actually approve a contract of this magnitude. Again, it's over what 28 million or so dollars, right?
This one is closer to 16.
16, yeah.
Okay, all right, okay. So you say
16 point something. Yeah, in the sense that
go ahead.
cabinet cannot give that type of approval. Ultimately it has to be approved by the procurement board. And you get a letter of no objection. That basically says the board has no objection to award a contract to this person for this money to do these works. It's similar to, like, you also get letters like that if you're dealing with the World Bank and the CDB. It's basically approval to expend resources from a loan or some type of financing, or in this case, government resources.
Yeah. So I'm trying to understand. We have all this information. You saying that is absurd. The person who actually wrote the contract is disputing this. I even overheard someone that spoke to the contractor himself. He said he had no knowledge of this thing. This is completely absurd.
Yeah,
the
and this is why it's a little yeah, some of the things that, like, they just cannot happen. Because also within the ministry we try to be, should I say, confidential, keep people on a need to know basis. So for example, even, so we don't really provide information or involve persons who don't have to be, in the process. So in the sense that, when the bids come in, they go between the evaluation. So, okay, number one, when the bids come in, they open before the board
right.
in a public meeting. Then they're evaluated by 3 or 5 people. I am not actually on that committee.
Right.
So even I, for example, don't review the bids.
Right.
So an independent group of persons, review the bids, they check the technical competence of persons, the financial competence, and then they make a recommendation for somebody to do the job. We do a very simple review, just to make sure that, all of the bases are covered, and then the report is submitted to the board, who then review it themselves. So, for example, it goes to the central procurement unit, they review the report, and then they make a recommendation. They submit it to the board, who then also review. So it actually changes through a lot of hands, right? So as Mr. George was saying, is like you have to have, I don't know, 20, 30 people.
Oh. You have to have a big
Yeah.
meeting of the minds, a large meeting of the minds to orchestrate a plan like that.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to be, to be fair, you can do nothing else. You have to be working solely on this to make it happen. And then you have to remember now, you have to also assume that all of these people are willing to go along with what you're proposing, as well.
You're right.
Yeah, right. Because remember, it's one thing to ask them, and it's another thing for them to actually say, "Okay, well, yeah, that makes sense."
Right.
And I don't know if you know, people. That is not an easy thing to do.
Right. Especially with the proliferation of so much media platforms and all of these things, we have gotten
Yeah, it's yeah, you know, so
yeah.
I don't know, it's such a tricky thing to do. Even if you try to bribe them, you're likely not to end up with much for yourself.
Yeah,
Right,
well,
right. No, I'm interested. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Joseph.
Yeah, just to establish a point of clarity, because I think my brother sort of correct me one aspect of what I said. So let me ask him, put it to him this way: could you just say um, on what basis the permanent secretary is able to sign the contract?
Right. So the permanent secretary is can sign, or well, typically signs after we receive what you call the no objection. So
So
that
it moves from the procurement board to the CAPSEC. I mean, sorry, to the PS.
yes, yeah.
yes. So so
That's it.
typically when you
Okay,
make
good.
a submission to the board, you send it via memo. The permanent secretary there then responds saying that the board has approved a contract between yourself and this person for this amount, um, and then and that is the point at which the permanent secretary signs and the contractor signs, and then
Okay.
and that letter now is what actually the Ministry of Finance now would look for in order to
Approve funds.
to approve funds. So even if the permanent secretary signs and you don't have that approval letter, funds are not dispersed. And Mr. George would tell you, we have situations where even if there's a typographical error on the letter, you are not paid. Yeah, no, it's a somewhat robust, process. So that's why, for example, based on how I've described it, I think now you understand all of the bureaucracy involved, why people say that the government takes so long to do certain things.
Right.
Um,
Right. And Mr. Joseph, you being the PS, I just want you to keep us grounded if anything changed from your period of being the PS to now, because there are also allegations that it was conveniently changed, or certain things was conveniently changed in the process of this corruption. Everything seems like how it used to be, right?
Well, I don't know what could have changed, on what basis things could have changed. I think we've had very thorough explanations of the processes involved, and those stand. So it doesn't, has nothing to do with who might have been an acting minister for a day or two. It has nothing to do with who's a substantive minister for, all of that stuff. The thing is really in the hands of an entity established by law, and they do their work. And I had missed it because I believe back then the recommendation would go from the tenders board would go to the cabinet. Now I'm told it doesn't go there. Once they clear it, the PS is so advised, and the PS is then able to execute, meaning to sign the contract with the contractor. So that is it. Does the PS take instructions to sign by minister? Well, what? That don't make any sense. The tenders board or the procurement entity is saying we approve. Somebody who there's no provision to override that. So it is not as if somebody
well, you have
could
to
come
change
in
the law.
after that to
Well,
say, huh?
Well, you have to change the law, but
That's right.
but until such time, and
That's right.
well, except somebody is confused because it happened before. I don't know.
See?
I mean,
I don't know. I would stay clear of that one.
no, I mean, I'm
Yes.
not making any accusations. I'm just saying maybe.
It depends on what is in the brief.
You're, you're a bad boy, William Joseph.
So in terms of payout, we all know that at the end of the day, The Ministry of Finance is who actually make that payment go to the Ministry of Finance. Have there been any investigation by the Ministry of Finance into those funds or any funds for that matter in regards to the Cliff project that you guys know of?
No, I'm sure the CTO might want to answer that, but even when the contract is awarded and the project is being executed, so the ministry appointed an engineer to look over the project on its behalf. And that engineer, his role is, well, one of his roles is to look at what the contractor has done, the work he has done, right? And then based on maybe milestone established or the work that has occurred, he would then issue what's called an interim payment certificate. And
Right.
that interim payment certificate is aligned with work that has already been done. And that is how the thing progresses. So the contractor does work, he submits an invoice. Sometimes the invoice he submits, the engineer may dispute it and say, well, you haven't done all this work you say you've done. So then the engineer would then sign off on the certificate if he's satisfied with it. And this is the basis on which the ministry pays. So again, there is a process there. You know?
Blas, you wanted to add anything?
Yeah, so Mr. George is on point. And then again, and just to add or bolster that point is that remember, the engineer only approves what they are confident has been done. Because remember their own professional reputation is at stake as well.
Right.
If you're approving things that are not done, if there is an audit, it leaves you open to scrutiny. So again, I would say it's a somewhat robust process.
Yeah.
And the persons who would have preceded me and would have conjured the law. I think they they did somewhat of a good job to kind of plan out for every eventuality.
Right. What about conflict of interest policy in place? Were there any conflict of interest policy in the whole legislation to ensure again that they don't have corruption, especially in awarding projects?
So basically, for you to be on any of the evaluation committees or so, and to be on the board, you have to declare conflicts of interest. Verbally or by signing some kind of document as well. So even in that sense, even in that sense, that is kind of treated with.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Louis, the individual in question here is threatening that the minister, the minister that's alleging the corruption, file a legal document, sue her if you feel like the information is not valid. Do you think that it's even worth it to go through the process? What's your take on it? And is it necessary? In other words, from your perspective, I know you do a program and you do analytic on various topics. What's your take on this whole thing? Should he go forward with some kind of lawsuit against that because this is libel?
Oh, you're asking me that?
Yeah, I'm asking you, what's your thoughts on the next step for them?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, any step at all, whether it's next step or other steps, is at the minister's discretion. The minister might decide, let the thing just flow, and he's not going to bother. Another minister, another individual might decide, listen, this is too damaging with respect to my character, so let us go to court so that I could my name could be cleared and I be duly compensated for the harm caused to my reputation. So those things are the call of the minister concerned. So there is it. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes, Junior,
Ah.
sometimes when people make such I don't know, stupid and ridiculous um, allegations, um, sometimes, you know, you if your conscience is clear and you know you let's say you make a statement somewhere, maybe it doesn't even worth the while taking legal action, because it just, you know, it just gives the thing additional oxygen, which, you know, in my mind doesn't make sense. So you know, you let these people stew in their own folly, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is partially why I was a little even hesitant to even, answer some of these things. Sometimes when you hear it, well, I guess for persons who know, you just kind of laugh
Yeah,
Right.
and you move along. It's not something you give a lot of, should I say, thought to.
yeah.
Well, obviously,
But
he's getting energy because GBN ran it. Now we're talking about it. We have a panel discussing this thing.
yeah, well, I mean, I think, listen, Junior, I applaud the fact that you're giving this some attention, and that's why I agreed when you come. That's why I agreed to come on the show, because I did see it on GBN last night, and I'm saying to myself, this is just so ridiculous. And when you called me today, I said, sure, I'll come on and say what I know, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and we appreciate that you came on and do just that. Um, Closing words, Mr. Williams. I know you're very opinionated. Looking at this thing here right now, where do we go from here with this with these with this corruption allegations?
Yeah. Well, we we live in a society that in which so much that happens in the public space now attracts scrutiny.
Yeah.
The people need to differentiate between adequate or deserving scrutiny, honest scrutiny, and dishonest, um, 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 perhaps politically motivated scrutiny. So what is going to happen with us if we do things like that because we are sifting it through a political sieve? It's a problem for us. What does it say about us, right? And of course, there's going to be a victim. Mr. Andy has his, apart from his good self, I'm sure he has a family, parents. He might have children and so on, and they hear these things about their dad or their son, and it's a problem. So I think we're at a point where we need to urge responsible conduct by people in the media,
Right.
right, regarding these things. These things are not difficult to research, right? All the laws of Grenada are available online. You go there, you begin there, in my view, right? If I earn $10 because I've done a consultancy for the government of Grenada or whoever else, and I decide to give $1 to somebody, that's where's the corruption? There's no corruption there. I give a gift to somebody. But to present a thing where by design, which is what that thing was all about, or sought to present, that by design, this thing was executed so that this payment was received in return. Now that doesn't help the society at all, because there's really no basis, as everyone has agreed, for a minister, in this case, the particular minister, to have done that, because he has no standing in the process that would give him authority
All right.
to put his signature on any paper of the kind.
Right.
So
Right.
there you are.
Yeah. Mr. George, you were saying?
No, I'm fine. I agree 100% with Mr. Joseph.
Okay. All right. In closing, Mr. Blash, what final words you want to say before you go out? I know you're in China now. It's morning where you are. What final words you have before we wrap it up in this segment?
Not much to really add now, Mr. George. Just thank you for having me on and allowing me to shed some clarity.
Right.
Yeah, and hopefully, this is the last time we have to speak about this issue.
Right. Okay. Well, it's out there, so I'm happy that we have this conversation to add some clarity because there was a lot of things in the procurement process that I myself did not understand. So I'm happy that we have a former PS and of course infrastructure here to give us some clarity on how the process really go. Because it was a sense of confusion, especially yesterday after Grenada Broadcasting Network aired it. I got a lot of calls, people saying, how come GBN is talking about it and you not even talking about it? We need some clarity, we need some information. So I thought it was a good idea to bring these folks together, you guys together, to have this conversation, to add this kind of clarity. Any last word, guys, before we wrap up? And still, guys, we open up the phone lines. If you want to call in, you could call in right now, 718-701-5720, as we give the final words. Mr. Joseph, and we'll leave Mr. George for last with his final words. Mr. Joseph, any last words?
I thought I'd given my final word already, so
Oh well, last one. Okay, yes.
I stand by that.
You stand by that. All right, good.
Thank you so much.
Guys, any last word, Mr. George?
No, I mean, I think I've explained the process, and as I said before, I think it's just unfortunate that people would besmirch the character of a minister, making those kinds of accusations as Mr. Joseph mentioned. I mean, this is a gentleman that has a family, and I don't know if he has children or whatever, but people shouldn't go about assassinating people's character without having the facts. So it's unfortunate, but what can we do? Hopefully, after this program where I think everything has been explained by the CTO, myself, and Mr. Joseph. I know you have quite a wide audience. Hopefully, the person making these allegations see this program and have the intestinal fortitude to apologize to Minister Andy.
Right. Well, let's see if that happens. Guys, thank you so much, Mr. Joseph, Mr. Blash, and Mr. George. Appreciate you guys so much. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Take care, everyone.
All right, good. All right. Yeah, guys, right along live. Let's open up the phone lines, guys. You heard the conversation here. A lot said, and I hope it added some clarity. If nothing else, I hope it added some clarity to the conversation. I was speaking to someone earlier, and I did tell them to call in because they have a difference of opinion on this. So I asked them to call us. So let's see if we get that call. Caller live, where are you calling us from? Hello? Hello? I caller. Hold on one second, caller. Hold on. Let me put this caller in here. Caller, hold on. Don't say nothing yet. All right, caller, you live? Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay.
Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you now, yes. Go right ahead, caller. Where are you calling us from?
Well, I am calling from Grenada. This is Jenny Simon.
Oh, this is Jenny
Hello?
Simon. Oh, nice.
Yes.
How you doing? It's funny, I invited you on the program a couple months ago, but you never came. And you calling now, I would have liked to have you here.
You invited me on a program a couple months ago.
Yes, I have the
You're talking about 2021 with the TGM thing? That's a couple months ago?
Well, whenever it was.
That's a couple months ago?
Whenever it was, I invited you.
Forget about that because that's years ago.
Hold on.
Let's deal with today.
Hold on, Jenny Simon. I invited you so you could have your full-blown interaction on the program. You didn't come. But I'm
And
happy
it's
that
my
you called
choice
now.
not to talk on your program about TGM.
So I didn't ask you about TGM. Anyway, Jenny, go right ahead, Jenny. Go right ahead. Go
From
right
months
ahead.
ago.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I listened to the entire program,
Okay.
and what I want to know is you guys understand what's bribery? Do you understand what's bribery?
Hold on.
I'm not hearing you.
No, hold on. The panelists just jump off. Let me get them back on. Hold on, Jenny. Don't move. Don't move. Stay right there. Let me get them back on. Blash, are you there? Hold on. Let me get the guys back on the pod. Could you come back on? Could you come back on the link? Hello? Could you come back on the link? Okay, so he's back on. All right. Mr. George, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, good. Mr. George is there. Jenny, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, so Jenny, Mr. Blash, we have Jenny Simon on the line. Mr. George, could you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, could you hear the caller?
Yes, I was hearing her.
Okay, go right ahead, Jenny.
Yes, I just wanted to ask the panelists if they actually understand what's bribery, because all I'm hearing is what's taking place inside of the ministry. And I don't know of anyone, including a minister especially, would go inside the ministry and document their bribery. What I'm speaking about happened, if you want to say it, under the table, right? And by the way, I am not only accusing Mr. Williams, because bribery has to be between more than one person, right? So the contractor, Mr. Nelson Louison, I've called his name. Every time I called Mr. Andy Williams' name as part of the bribery. He bought Mr. Williams' house that they gave him from the development bank. He bought the house, gave him $100,000 in his hand and $15,000 to fix his pickup truck. Now, nothing you guys said there can prove that didn't happen. All you talk about is procurement and what takes place. And we all know that what takes place with this administration is extraordinary and different to any other, right? I also heard somebody mention the Prime Minister doesn't have nothing to do with contracts and the PS doesn't take instructions from the minister. Who does the PS take instructions from but the minister?
Nobody said that. Nobody said that.
And I know for a fact someone that Andy Williams called in the St. David's constituency, offering them a contract, but he was calling on behalf of the Prime Minister. What you are talking about? I mean,
Okay, let me ask you a question.
You.
Let me ask you a question. So you have information of an underhanded deal, which is signed, an underhanded signed deal between Mr. Williams and.
Did I say it was signed?
So do you have any document?
That it happened.
Okay, so you don't have. So hold on. Do you have?
Hold on, let me explain
No. So do you have any signed document? Do you have any documents that would verify and validate that claim? Because if it's an underhanded deal where somebody is slapping someone money in the hand, they don't sign a contract to say, okay, well, I'm going to give you this.
That's my point. And I never said a contract was signed.
So do you have any document? So do you have any document to prove that this happened?
I do. And hear me now.
Okay.
I want to ask you all on the panel. Can you unequivocally say that bribery never happened?
But I'm trying to get from you how do you know that? Okay, go ask the question, Mr. George. Sorry.
Rodney George sit there and say to me that a bribery never happened.
So Junior.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. George.
What I heard in the media was that Mr. Andy Williams received a bribe for the Cliff project. for the Cliff project.
Yes.
So, and I think in the conversation that we had before Ms. Simon came on, that could have never happened because of the processes involved in awarding contracts. So that is crystal clear. The allegation was that he was paid because Mr. Williams, well, let's say, was complicit in getting CCCI the contract. And as explained by myself and the CTO, because of the rigorous process involved, that could have never happened. Never. So, I mean, Ms. Simon saying about money was exchanged, but now she's not relating it to the Cliff project because that's what was in the media. That's what she said. That is related to the Cliff project, which is hogwash.
To the Cliff project. I thought that was clear. That's what we're speaking about. We're speaking about the Cliff project. Yes, I am relating it to the Cliff project.
Well, it never happened. It couldn't have happened.
Because that was the whole idea. The idea was that I said Andy Williams took a bribe from the contractor of the Cliff project,
Jenny, we
Mr.
want
Nelson Louison.
we want the evidence to show that it was a bribery. We want the evidence to show. Saying that it's a bribery.
After I heard some of the panelists say all kind of things are ridiculous, it's what, and spoiling character. And then at the end I heard, well, I don't think we should bother go through that. If we go through suing, it will add more fuel, no oxygen. How would it add more oxygen? As a matter of fact, what it would do is end the whole thing.
Jenny, you in the media, I'm in the media, we do this, right? If you have evidence, we want to see, if you say that there is a bribery, underhand passing of money, we need the information, we need the evidence, because anybody could say that. I could get up any Monday morning and say that.
Yes. No, you can't say that because you don't have the evidence.
No, because
I can say
so where the evidence?
You cannot say that.
So present
because
the evidence.
You will not get up. And I will not get up. I will not get up and just say that somebody took a bribe, especially like that, a minister in a project. I will not get up and say that. So I don't know if you will get up and say that just so.
No, I wouldn't get up and say that. Right.
Will not get up and say that.
But initially you said that it was signed by the minister. So it's now.
No. The minister keeps saying that. What I said,
right.
It was signed off. Now, signed and signed off has two different meanings. Signed
the minister didn't sign off on anything.
Or authorize. Signed off is to approve or authorize. What I said was signed off. I never said.
So hold on, Jenny. Hold on. We have the person right here now. So, Mr. George, was the contract signed off by Mr. Andy Williams?
No, Andy Williams had nothing to do with this contract.
So, Jenny, where are you getting the information? Where do you get the information?
I don't expect to hear anything different from Mr. George. Right? I don't expect to hear anything from Mr. George.
Why not?
Mr. George is advisor. Mr. George is right up in there. Mr. George is in bed with the NDC. What I can tell you, the Prime Minister was away, and I could prove that. That's easy to prove. The date. The Prime Minister was away, and Mr. Williams was acting as Prime Minister and Minister for Infrastructure. I do expect Mr. George to say anything else.
So did he do it? He did it behind his back. He did it. Was it a sneak?
In the middle of this, because Mr. George, up to now, with all that he tell you about what happened, I don't care about procurement and tendering. I don't care about that. I don't need to know that. So all of this, Rick will take you through a whole contract that the way it used to happen, and not the way it's happening now. The way it used to happen.
Yeah.
But we established that what's happening now.
I want to be kind here.
And the reason was to cut all red tape. That's what nation builders is about.
Jenny,
I
Jenny?
am,
Hold on, Jenny, hold on,
Mr.
Jenny, hold on,
George.
Jenny, hold on. Let
Sorry.
her speak
No,
for
no,
a bit.
no. Let me just
No,
finish
let
what
him
I'm
speak
saying.
for a while. Jenny, let him speak for a while. I
You come-
control
you
it.
coming
Hold on.
up-
Mr. George, go ahead and speak. Mr. George, go ahead and
Yes.
speak.
You know,
To say anything, especially after
Hold on.
all you said
Hold on. Mr. George, hold on.
earlier on in the program.
Jenny, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
So
Hold
I
on.
don't expect him to.
Jenny, hold on 1 second. Mr. George, go ahead and speak.
you know, sometimes I have a philosophy, that when people are talking nonsense, right, just not to respond, because this is just idiotic. Idiotic. I mean, how can you make an accusation, right, that the minister took a bribe when he wasn't even involved? We've explained the process. The CTO has explained the process. And then you have this lady saying that she don't expect anything from me because I'm in bed with the
No.
NDC. I'm not in bed with anybody. I'm an unpaid advisor to the ministry. That's all. I'm not an NDC card carrying member. And even if I support the NDC, so what? You know? I mean,
Right.
you used to support the NDC. I don't know what spoofed you.
That doesn't have anything to do with what we're dealing with here today. And when I said the NDC, I didn't mean the NDC party. I meant the NDC administration. That's what I meant when I said the NDC. So I'm sorry about that, but I meant the NDC administration.
Well, I'm serving and giving back to any government in power. When NNP was in power, I served as chairman of the Tourism Authority. So my record speaks for itself. Right? I'm a professional.
Yes.
And I'm giving back.
Yes,
And I'm
indeed.
giving back to my country in whatever way I can.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
All right, Jenny, we wait to see your evidence provided. There's underhand dealing, so I'm sure
But
there may not be any contract that we'll see, but we look to see whatever information that
okay.
you may have.
I heard at the end you guys said that you think it's I guess today's program should put an end to the rumors. I want to disappoint you that it won't. I would continue because I know what I'm saying is true. I know what I'm saying is fact. And nothing you guys said there today can prove that it's not fact. Nothing. You come with bureaucracy.
Jenny is an
Nobody's going to
accusation.
go
Jenny,
in the ministry.
let's take it for what it is. It's an accusation. You can't say facts because you have no evidence. You haven't proven any evidence. You haven't brought any evidence. So you are making an accusation. Take it for what it is.
I'm agreeing with you because you have not seen any evidence.
Right.
You can
So
say
then it's an accusation. You can't say it's facts. You can't say it's facts right now.
And I am saying it again with accusation like that. I expect to be sued by either Nelson Louison or Andy Williams.
Okay.
Well, maybe you might get
you
to
guys have a good evening. Have a good evening now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right along live.
Anyhow.
Thank you again, Mr. George, for coming on and coming back on. A double take there. So you see, we cater for everybody, Mr. George. Sometimes you get.
I didn't want to lose my cool here, but I mean, this is just ridiculous.
Okay. All right. All right, Mr. George. Thanks again. And Dennison just messaged me. He said, "That's my big brother."
All right, Junior. Take care.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. All right. Cool. No problem. All right. Ah, boy. Right along. I thought I was... Okay, let me take a next call. We got another call on the line. Caller, live, where are you calling us from?
I am calling from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, New York. How you doing? And I hear the voice. I know who that voice is. Familiar voice. How you doing, Mr. Michael Batiste?
Well, I don't know how ethical is this for you to be balling out the caller's name, but yeah, I guess
ethical.
I guess St. Andrews people do all kind of things.
But you have to identify yourself. Jenny Simon just called. Michael Batiste is calling. It's ethical. There's nothing wrong with that.
No problem. There's greater things I want to discuss other than identification of a color.
No problem. No problem. But nothing unethical. Go ahead, Mr. Batiste.
I miss Mr. Joseph intervention. I regret very much I did not hear him. Let me say that I have a lot of respect for William Joseph. I can say with some measure of certainty that he was one of the better PS in government. The other gentleman that there, he said he's the advisor. I've never met him, but of course I respect his opinion dearly. In listening to you trying to interrogate Jenny Simon.
Interrogate?
Well, more or less, because you're asking questions as if she's before a grand jury.
No, I am the host. Michael, in all due respect, Michael, this is my program. I have to ask you this question.
All right. Let's run past that a bit. That's all right.
No problem.
Now the two distinguished gentlemen.
Yes.
They are talking about procedures, administrative procedures.
Yes.
That will take place in the ministry. A minister does not sign contract.
Okay. And I wanted to make that very clear.
Let's get that out of the way.
Right. Okay.
A minister does not sign contract.
Okay. Good.
A minister recommend contractors for a contract. And may I repeat? Ministers recommend contractors.
But Michael, I asked that question, and not to cut you, and I don't want you to lose your train of thought. I asked that question, right? If the minister is involved in making those recommendations, right? And what I was told was no, and that's by the people, the technocrats, that the people that does this. They say that is not the case. And specifically in this particular situation here, he said that is not the case. So do you have evidence to show that in this case right here, the minister recommended people for that contract?
I am speaking in generality.
But we can't speak. Hold on, we can't speak in general. We can't speak in general. We can't speak in general. We have to speak in specificity.
You cannot say that the minister was not involved, or whether he was or wasn't involved in recommending people for that particular project.
How do you know that for a fact?
Because it is how the system operates now.
You don't know that for a fact. It could be alleged.
All right. Well, I don't know if we're talking as if we're in a bar room and we're arguing.
I
thought you would allow me to make my contribution.
I know. I want you to make a contribution. No, I want you to make your contribution.
But if you keep tripping me off like that, it means like you're trying to.
No, Michael. No. Listen. I am trying to get clarity, and I'm looking to learn myself. So if I don't understand something, I would ask a question.
Okay, whenever there is a project in a constituency,
right,
the representative for that constituency will allot contractors in his constituency that he's comfortable with.
Right.
He will then recommend them or invite them to bid on such a project.
But do you know that for a fact that this happened in this particular case?
I know that for a fact.
It happened in this case.
And may I say?
Yes.
And may I say?
Right.
May I say?
Right.
The PS, the advisor, the CTO have absolutely nothing to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
That is the activities that take place outside of the realm of this distinguished gentleman. And hence the reason why you see contracts are given out to supporters of respective parties. Because the minister or the representative for that area, if he's in government, if he's not in government, the caretaker for that constituency would invite contractors supporting that party to bid for that project, and that project would be awarded to a supporter of that party. And those are facts. What Jenny said, Jenny never said, and based on what I was listening to her, she never said Andy Williams signed no contract. And he cannot sign a contract because he's not the chief administrative officer in the ministry. The PS is the one going to do that. The PS will sign that contract after all the activities would have taken place outside of the knowledge of the PS. When the contract is awarded and it has to be signed, that is where the PS gets involved. And I want us to leave the PS out of that and stop hiding behind the PS. Leave the honorable PS out of that and don't use them as no smoke screen to say that they signed the contract and the minister don't have nothing to do with it. That is not the truth. As a matter of fact, the tenders board was more or less dismantled. There was a time when it was $10,000, and now I understand that it has been extended now to $100,000 could be given without competitive bidding.
No, that's not that is disputed. The without competitive bidding is disputed. So I'll ask the same question. I'll ask the same question that I asked Jenny Simon. Do you have
can ask as much questions as you want, the fact does not the fact does not change. I am saying to you that contract could be awarded up to 100,000 now.
Right.
Okay? When these contracts are awarded, and here's how it works. When these contracts are awarded to be sort of kind to a transparent process, 3 contractors would be invited. The representative would know who he wants to give the contract. They will call down 3 people to be kind to the project, but the representative for that area who is in government would already know who he wants to give that contract.
Michael, I find you speaking in general sense.
These contracts, hold on a minute, these contracts are not published for open bidding where you put it in a sealed envelope and you go into the conference room in the Ministry of Works.
Okay.
And the bids are open.
Right.
In public. No, it's not done that way. The minister is the one who facilitates the contractor. He is the facilitator that have nothing to do with the PS, nothing to do with the CTO, and nothing to do with the advisor. And I pray that they would fold their arms and take themselves out of that. There's a process, a long process that takes place between the representative or the minister and the contractors as to who will get that contract.
Right, but you said about open bidding. Hold on, let's go to that. $100,000 now without open bidding. But this was a $16 million project. So with a 16, do you believe that a $16 million project, and I agree with you, that if it's $100,000 or below $100,000, you don't have to go through open bidding. You don't have to go through to that process, and that is correct. But we're talking about a $16 million project.
Well, the only problem with what you say, you don't have a problem with that, is because you could give out $100,000 contract, which turns out to be $1 million without competitive bidding.
Well, we're talking about 16 million.
Okay,
16 million.
All right,
16 million. So you have to.
In the case,
we do have Mr. George back on, which I'm happy.
In the case of the 16 million,
yeah. Yes.
The issue at hand here is not the awarding of the contract or the quantum.
What is it?
Jenny Simon is saying that someone facilitated the awarding of that contract based on what I'm hearing she's saying, and in return, certain gratuity was paid.
Okay, let's bring on Mr.
Talking about the validity, the transparency. She's not saying that it was an unlawful contract. How could she say that? She never said that. She said the contract was above board.
But I didn't hear that. But let's bring on back Mr. George. Mr. Rodney George is back with us. Rodney, you was listening.
Yeah, I was listening. Sometimes I'm very blunt. This gentleman is talking utter nonsense about the minister. We explained the process in detail. The minister has nothing to do with this. The minister doesn't influence anything. We explained the process.
Every time you say minister, you jump and you're defending somebody. I never call nobody names. I'm talking about the general process, how it works. Which minister you're talking about? Did I come here and call any minister's name? Why are you defending a minister? You say a minister. What is it here?
Junior, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yes. Michael, did you say a particular minister? Did you say?
No. No, I'm talking about the modus operandi of the system, how it works now. I never call nobody's name.
I didn't call anybody's name. I heard him say the minister.
He defending a minister. What happened to you? No, minister refers to Andy William. I said minister.
Okay.
And may I ask you, if it pleases you, to identify parts of my utterances that's nonsense?
Because it is.
Well, what you're saying here is the same thing as the answer that was given when someone said it is not their ministry and they didn't do it. The same thing you're saying, it is nonsense. It's not my ministry. I didn't sign the contract.
I don't know.
You know, there was a time when they used to say that certain followers of a certain party was done. But I believe now that it is the intention of this government to see everybody in Grenadians as damn fool. We are not talking about the legality of the contract. We are not talking about the administrative work of the contract, who signs the contract after it's awarded. We are talking about the activities that took place within an individual and the contractor. That is the issue at hand. Why can't you understand that? You are not talking about apple. You're talking about apple and oranges.
So Junior, the allegation was that.
Let me play that back with the question that was asked. Right, the question that was asked and the allegations at that point in time. Listening.
It is rumored, and you got a question the other night. You didn't answer it really. That you're involved in a bribery case with the contractor of the Cliff Road project. Switch for the contract, 100,000. I'm going to get it right. The lady did not get it right the other night. She said 150. It's 115. 100,000 in your hand and 15,000 to fix your pickup truck. Are you, sir, denying that?
No. First of all, let me just see this, Miss Simon or Mrs. Simon.
No, it's Miss.
Well, Miss Simon, and I want to watch you in your eyes, right? Because I've heard you made these accusations on your show a number of times.
Right.
And frankly, I'm not one who.
Those were the initial allegation that was made.
Well, let's hear you answer now, please, if you don't mind. I didn't hear it.
You want to hear? Okay, no problem. I'll play back something. No problem. Let me put it back up there. All right, let me put it back up there.
No problem, ma'am.
Okay.
No, anything I do it with full transparency. And exactly what you're saying there, it is completely false. Okay? And I've heard you made mention that a minister signing a contract. I want to educate you. In 1997, I started working by teaching. And I want to teach you something here today. A minister doesn't sign a contract.
Right. Okay. That's as far as we're going to go with that. So there were allegations that this document was signed by the minister. And he was responding to it, and he did respond to it in this particular press conference. Hello?
If Jenny Simon said Andy Williams signed a contract, Jenny Simon is wrong. Minister does not sign any contract. Signing of a contract is lies under the terms of reference of a permanent secretary. The minister does not sign the contract. The minister does select someone for contracts. The minister does facilitate a process where the contractor gets a contract. That's what I'm saying here.
I think you should use.
I think that is what is incorrect, and that's what I want to point out, because I mean the allegation is as such that it meant that the minister received a payment to facilitate CCCI getting the contract. And as we explained earlier, this cannot be the case because of the process involved. There were, I think, 3 or 4 contractors that provided proposals. Those proposals was evaluated by a team of engineers in the ministry. And of course, that was looked over by the CTO, right? And then once that evaluation was done, it was sent to the procurement board so that they can give the okay. And nowhere in the process was Andy Williams, Minister Andy Williams, involved, because infrastructure is not his ministry. The Minister of Infrastructure was not even involved. It was only after the procurement board gave its okay, and I know I'm repeating myself here. In our weekly meetings with the Prime Minister, we would inform him and say, okay, Minister, this particular project, the procurement board has given the okay, and we will go and we will sign the contract. Period. I mean, if he has questions, he will ask. But there's never been an instance where the Minister of Infrastructure, any minister for that matter, has said to me or anybody in the team at Infrastructure, and we all work closely together, to say that I want this contractor to get a contract or that contractor to get a contract. Never.
Right. So, Michael, we have to end it there, right? But I want to say, Michael, let me just say this, right? Do you have any physical evidence that will go contrary to what Mr. George is saying in terms of this particular contract? Not hearsay, not what she say, not what he say.
I have never made any allegations against anybody. I don't know why you.
But you are supporting an allegation. But you are supporting. No, I'm just saying you are supporting the allegations.
What I'm saying here, and let me hasten to say a word on what the gentleman just said about is not his ministry. I wish he wouldn't say that. The Prime Minister is out of the country regularly.
So, Michael, what you are saying is that it was a sneaky move.
Why are you saying that to say what? I mean, no, I'm asking the gentleman.
Yeah.
You saying that to say what? It's not his ministry. Is the Prime Minister? The Prime Minister ministry is his ministry. Don't he?
Well, he was the one accused. He was the one.
Talk better than that, man. Everybody in Grenada is not jackasses, man. They're telling me it's not his ministry.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you're describing yourself. I don't know, but.
I don't know. Okay, I have no problem with that.
Because we gave. I think
in trying to come in on a public forum and telling me it's not his ministry.
Well, he's the one that was accused. That's why I said that.
He spent a substantial amount of time in that ministry.
Michael,
so why are you adding that?
Let me ask you a question, Michael. Was it a sneaky? Do you believe the allegation that the minister was sneaky in terms of signing the contract behind the back of the prime minister?
So.
But he had to be But are you alleging? Are you agreeing with the allegation that somehow the prime minister was in the air and Andy Williams went in the, okay, well, I'm the minister now, so let me go and sign this contract now so I could benefit from it? Are you alleging that it was a sneaky
I never
move?
said that, and my mouth is big enough. Please don't try to
so
put
what are you
words in
saying? So I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
That's why I'm saying that is just idiotic.
I am saying to you, what I'm saying to you,
right?
That Jenny Simon made a vicious and a very serious allegation. I'm calling it an allegation.
Right.
Grenada have some of the best libel laws in the region. And if Mr. Williams feels he is wronged, he holds very high position, acting prime minister, minister of MIT, representative for South St. George. He can simply seek redress before the court with an injunction.
Right.
And in that injunction, he can ask the court to put a bag over over Jenny Simon's mouth. And Jenny Simon then will have the opportunity to come before the court. She too will say, I can show cause why I should continue saying what I'm saying, because here is the evidence. Why are we jumping and dancing like that when there's a platform for redress?
But here is what I don't want to get myself involved in and in my name being called in this, right? If I'm going to make any statement here on the platform, it's going to be backed up by the facts, right? And that's what I'm asking. Same thing I'm asking for you. I'm not going to support an allegation unless I could see some facts. So if you could provide me, or if Jenny Simon could provide the facts, and when she do, I will be more than happy to come here and show all the facts and information. Michael, you are supporting. You are supporting the allegation. You are supporting the allegation. So I'm asking you. Something nice.
I am sitting on the sidelines.
Okay.
I am listening,
right.
And I'm saying that the arguments that advance is irrelevant.
Okay. All right.
The arguments that they're putting up now is an effort to mislead people.
Okay.
Because whether or not Andy Williams is the Minister of Infrastructure, he acts regularly, so that is a non-issue. Andy Williams cannot sign a contract, but that does not prevent he or any minister from interacting with contractors.
Okay.
Inviting contractors to bid and selecting contractors. That's what I'm saying.
That's the last thing. I don't want to beat up. I don't want to beat up. I don't want to beat up that point to the degree. But I'm saying, if we're going to say that, anybody could. It's possible that he could do it. It's possible that this person could do it. But unless we have some credible information to back that up, to say yes, he actually did it, then we can't make an allegation. We can't support an allegation. But anyway, we're gonna go back and forth.
It is Jenny Simon that make this accusation against him. It's a dangerous accusation.
That you are supporting and endorsing. We'll take it right there.
No. I am not.
Michael, I have to move on.
Do better than that. Do better than that, Junior. Do better than that.
No, Michael, you called in and you are supporting. No, you are supporting the allegation.
How?
And
How could I support it?
So Michael, let me ask you a question. Are you not seeking information that would verify the what was presented? Are you not seeking information? Let me see what you have.
That is not my calling.
But before you support an argument,
I am on the sidewalk. I am on the sidelines listening. If Andy Williams feel offended by Jenny's remark,
okay.
The laws of Grenada is quite clear.
Okay.
Let Andy Williams seek redress before the court.
Okay.
I would have simple injunction.
Okay.
Get an injunction, sub it on Jenny, sub it on Facebook, sub it on YouTube.
Right.
And ask her to cease and desist from making those dangerous remarks.
Okay.
Failure to do so is lending credence to the allegations.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Michael.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. All right, cool. All right, guys. Mr. George, you're working hard today. You're back on again, and
Well, I gotta leave. I gotta leave now. I gotta leave now.
Thank you so much.
I think we've beat that up enough.
Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Junior.
718-701-5720, guys. We're still live. Long program today. We're still getting calls. Let's go to the next phone line. Caller, you're live. Where are you calling us from?
Junior,
Hi.
you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Good. Yeah, I have problem with Mr. Michael Baptiste. When you accept his call, you introduce him to the program. Michael Baptiste was supporting the allegation, and you was trying to get him straight on that. So you went back and get the clip from Jenny. Okay? And when you play the clip, then Michael changes his tone. So he came supporting like a madman. I say so because when you play the clip, that is when he doubled down. And Michael is too big for that. What Michael is doing, he's playing politics and not trying to help people to have an understanding. You have a gripe with the NDC as how Jenny have. So anytime the NDC come up in the field, you will hear Michael, you will hear Jenny. Now, I am sorry for Jenny saying. Is a woman I know. Okay? We all were in the NDC at one time. She gone, I remain. But I don't take sides. I deal with issues. How she arrived at what she's saying, I don't know. If she have the facts available to present as to defend the allegation, and to see how Jenny speak like someone who not learn. You come and you're saying what an allegation, but during the press conference, you are making it real to the minister. Okay? She's saying that she have the facts, she have the evidence. So she changed from an allegation that she started on, and she is confirming it. And when I heard Jenny saying that, I sat home and I said, I'm sorry for Jenny. Who is aiding Jenny? I don't know.
So you're saying when she came to the press conference, instead of she saying that there's an allegation, she should have come out and say, it's facts because I have the information to back it up. No accusation, which she did not say. Right.
But she came up with an allegation, but then later on she confirming to what she's saying. So on that ground, anybody who looking into that will see that Jenny is saying, yes, it is so. She pointed to the minister, you know, and she told him about some other, I think it was on GBN, or he didn't answer the question and those things, you know. Listen to the clip properly.
Mm-hmm.
So if Minister Williams is going to take Annie to court, Jenny to court, it is correct for him to do because she is tarnishing his reputation. And that's not the only allegation, you know. And Annie is not only the only minister, you know. You know, Ron Redhead was also part of it and come down. Well, Deacon name and alcohol. But I think what she did, she walked right into the trap she set for Andy, and she get caught by what she said. And she's still disputing when you're trying to help her to understand what these three gentlemen you have on your program was saying. She is trying to show something else who is in bed with the NDC. So these three gentlemen now, what they are doing, they are protecting Andy Williams. And they're not dealing with this substantial issue. Jenny has to be very careful. And Mr. Michael Baptiste, you must realize young people listening to you, and they need to learn. You are experienced parliamentarian and cabinet minister. So they expect you to come and say better than that. I know the minister, anybody could help me here, the permanent secretary is the manager in the ministry. The minister is the liaison minister between the ministry and the cabinet. So he or she goes back and forth. So you bring the issues from the ministry to the cabinet. Decision taken or whatever, you go back to the ministry, give it to the cabinet secretary. He or she has a management committee working with us. As far as I understand, anybody could help me better? I'll be grateful. Now, he made it clear that minister don't sign contract. What does Michael do? He heard that, but he stick up $100,000. Now, come on, if you're the minister in your constituency and you have little road projects and things to do, but you come into play, that's $100,000. But the issue is 16,000.
16 million.
16 million, sir.
Yeah.
Okay? So now, this is a huge figure. Michael still tried throwing cold water on that. So when young people listening to him, how will they learn? They must turn their back on elders like that. Because you're fooling people. And but not fooling, you're trying to fool people. But you're making children laugh at you. But I'm saying that before I go. I'm sorry for Jenny. Okay? Because she'll have to suffer the consequence.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, caller. Thank you so much. 718-701-5720, guys. I have to use my phone here like this because for some reason, the Bluetooth doesn't go through the board. So if you want to call straight to the system, you'll have to call direct, all right? Otherwise, I have to use my phone on the WhatsApp. So call direct, 718-701-5720. Let's hear your view on this topic right here. And we want all sides to ventilate on their issue, right? As you see, everybody watch right along. It don't matter. Everybody watches this program. Got another caller. Caller, where are you calling us from?
Hi, Junior. I'm calling from Canada.
Canada, go right ahead.
Junior, I find Jenny's obsessed with Andy. I don't know if Jenny wants to be Andy's side chick and Andy don't want or something.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
For somebody who is in the media, I find Jenny is very dunce. And Jenny's starting to believe her own lies and she needs to stop it. And I think Andy should really and truly take Jenny to court. Just for she to have some kind of like cap on she mouth or something. Because Jenny is trying to, even if the man name is explain and they say, okay, well, he's not, Jenny still come there and Jenny trying to make the people believe that Andy do it under the table. It's like she trying to make it believe like, okay, no contract is signed, but it's happened. And she have the facts. Where is the facts? Come out with your facts. Come out with your receipt and show that Andy do that. So and she's scandalizing his name and she's destroying his character. So she's trying to make people believe now when he is in the acting prime minister, that's when he do it. So something need to be done about Jenny. And you see this Michael Baptist, for somebody who was in politics, he need to stop it. He need to stop it. Soon as you play the video, he hush him out now. He realizes his song is very stupid. And it's about time for Michael to stop that or leave your show alone. Don't call on it, don't come on it, don't call on it. Because it's making no sense. Not because you don't like NDC and you're an NMP, you have to make NDC feel like they are the worst. They are not the worst. They're trying their best to do the best they can. And they're making people feel like NDC is so much in corruption. They take it NMP corruption and bring it for NDC. Now they're making people realize how corrupt NMP was. Thank you, Junior.
All right, thank you so much, caller. Thank you so much, caller. Got another caller on the line, on the direct line. Let's take this caller right now. Caller live, where are you calling us from?
Hey, Junior, how are you?
Hey, hold on, let me turn my music down a bit.
How you doing, my brother?
Good, good, good. George.
Well, I just want to say it is I'm happy to hear my brother was on your program here, but it's so sad, my brother has been a distinguished ambassador.
Yeah.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Go right ahead. I'm listening.
My brother, it's so sad to see my brother have to come on and defend corruption in any administration. My brother had been a distinguished ambassador and statesman for Grenada, not only for this government. For years, he has worked under the NMP government in Europe, serving Grenada at no pay, giving back to his country. I'm not sure if you're aware, when my brother was 26 years old, the Maurice Bishop government went to the University of the West Indies and brought him back to Grenada to run cable and wireless. And so my brother have a long, distinguished record from since he was around 23 years old, serving the Maurice Bishop government. And it's kind of sad to see the way Michael Baptist is kind of, have very, today, Michael Baptist and he's this kind of thinking, I think is putting Grenada. You know, I used to have respect for him, but today I'm having less respect because to me these kind of ideology and this kind of dogma is putting the country back. No, I want you to pay very attention to what Jenny Simon is saying, and maybe you guys not listening to what she's saying, and it's going to be very hard for Andy Williams to win her any libel case against her in court. Remember what Jenny Simon is saying. She's saying it is rumored. But the tape you played, she's saying it is rumored.
But no, but tonight she said that she have the evidence because again.
But yes, but once she have evidence to back up the rumor.
Mm-hmm.
But once she used the word it is rumored, look up the definition of rumored.
Yes.
The tape you played, the definition of rumored is untruth.
Yes.
It's on what it says, uncertain and doubtful truth.
Right.
So you have to be very, you have to listen to what Jenny Simon is saying. She's blowing. No, but she also said it's rumored. But what she's saying, she has the evidence to back up the rumor.
Right.
So she's saying things, she's putting things out, but she's also using language to protect herself.
Right.
Go back and listen, Junior.
Yeah. I know. And a lot of times, even on this platform, I mean, I don't get into that rumor mongering type of things because I believe as a media personality, you have to have. You have to understand that you could say certain things and you could cause a riot. You have to be very, very careful.
So what I'm saying, Junior, even Jenny Simon is making the statement that what she's saying is not truth.
Right.
But people have to pay close attention. So what I think she's trying to, it's clear that what her intention are. What her intention is. It's clear what her intention is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because go back, play our statement.
Do you think it's a method to put the administration on the defense, or
Listen,
defending things when they could be?
Let me tell you, it is sad that this is happening to Andy Williams because Andy Williams is one of the most progressive ministers in government in Grenada today, and not only government today. He has been one of the most progressive ministers in government in Grenada in the last maybe 10, 15 years.
Right.
And Andy Williams, I don't live in Grenada as much, but to me, what I heard and what I've seen being in Grenada, Andy Williams don't choose where to serve. He served his whole constituent, whether it's NDC, NNP. And it's sad to see they're going after one of the most progressive ministers who is serving the country well. And if this is what we are coming to as a country, it is very, very sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, I'm sorry to see my brother have a lot of love and respect for my brother. That he as a statesman that served Grenada and served Grenada for what? With no pay. He does it for love of country. And he has to come here and defend himself with Michael Batiste. Come on. And Michael Batiste pretend like he doesn't know who my brother is.
Yeah. But,
And knowing my brother would never involve himself in any situation where corruption is. He don't need to. And he has been serving under NNP, NDC, Maurice Bishop government. He has been since he was 23, 24 years old. He's been serving Grenada.
Right.
So
his track
record
speaks for
himself. That's all I have to say, my brother. It's sad to see that we as statesmen in Grenada, like Michael Batiste, myself, you, we have to put a better program forward to encourage young people to get involved in the process. But you can't get young people in the process when you're trying to tear people down and spreading rumors. And then I say, I'm sorry to see this is happening to Andy Williams. I don't know the brother personally, but I know about his effort. And I heard it from NDC people, NNP people, that he's doing a remarkable job of serving the people of his district. And I hope he would continue. But pay a close attention to Jenny Williams' word, Brother Junior. Listen to what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
He's used the word over and over. It is rumored.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Junior, good night. Yeah?
Thank you so much, my brother, for calling in. That was Dennis and George. Yeah. All right, guys. So, listen. I reckon we will have another conversation maybe in the next couple of days. Hopefully not, but you know, people start it, Ride Along ends it, right? Because once you hear it on Ride Along and that clarification, those stuff is articulated here, that's it. And I think everyone had some good contribution here on the conversation. Let's see where it goes from here. Let's see where it goes. Listen, if these allegations are true, and I'm telling you right now, if these allegations, and these allegations now is rumored, I don't deal with rumors, if we have factual information and information were to be released to the contrary to what is being said by any one of the individuals here today, we will publish it on Ride Along Live. I'll come back here and speak about it because we deal with all the issues on all sides. Where you could look at one program and all they give you is one side of the matter. You see what's happening on Ride Along Live. Everybody watch Ride Along. Everybody have an input. And we don't cut people off. We hear what they have to say. We don't cut people off. We don't shut off people's voices. We listen to what they have to say. All right? Not like, there's a certain individual, you call his program and the minute time you open him out and you realize that you're going to say something or you don't like you or know who you are and who you think you support, he will cut you off. We don't do that here. We allow everybody to speak. And that's the difference with Ride Along Live and any other platform, right? We give people an opportunity to speak because everyone has a story to tell. We believe that firmly. But listen, guys, as much as I want to continue this conversation, I have to go, right? See you guys again tomorrow. But before I go, guys, let me tell you guys about this because... Yeah, man, listen. Monday Night Mass with a difference, guys. Amazing colors. We're not doing it on the road this year. We're doing it where? On the water. Monday Night Mass with amazing colors. It will be amazing on Ecstasy. This is how we go. Listen, guys. Imagine this, right? Monday night, you have your colors, you have your lights, your glow stick, everything. And while everyone coming down on the parade route, you're on a boat and you're sailing down the coast. Your glow stick, your lights, and you're on Ecstasy, you're winding down low on the boat. That's what we're doing this year. Something with a difference. Yes, it's different. Amazing colors on the water. On the water? Yeah. Amazing colors on the water, guys. It's amazing. So amazing. Guys, listen. Do you know we had taxi service as well? Yeah, man. A ride taxi service could give you a tour like no other. I know, we had the tuk-tuks, we had the e-bikes and all of that good stuff. But yeah, we also have taxi service. So ride, taxi. When you're in Grenada, call us. We'll pick you up on the airport. And yeah, you see that? You see that right there? You got to be a part of that. Get your friends and family and let's go on a ride. An e-bike excursion ride with Ride, e-bike, and tours. Call for more information. The number is 473-422-1011. That's 473-422-1011. Call us right now and book your next excursion with Ride, excursions and tours. Also, don't forget, if you're looking for a tuk-tuk, you're looking for a tuk-tuk tour, that's the hottest thing to get around tongue, Give us a call. And we're forever looking for drivers, guys. So if you ride and you could drive, you want to be a rider, give us a call. Good night, folks. I'll catch you guys again tomorrow. Ride Along Live.
on Playway, $20 backup on Pick 3, and cash for each, please.
Okay, are you adding multi-X to your bet?
Yes, multi-X, all of them.
Smart! Best value bet. Backup and multi-X, you cannot go wrong.
Don't matter the bet, multi-X all of the daily games.
With multi-X added, your winnings can be multiplied 3 times, 5 times, even 7 times. So make it a rule. Add multi-X to all your playway, daily pick 3 and daily cash for bets every day and for every drop, and watch your money grow. Available at stores and online.
You heard it here. Multiply your winnings daily. Must be 18 or older to play. NLA, making
Looking
your...
for the ultimate island experience? Hop on the Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tour and explore Grenada like never before. Feel the tropical breeze, sip on authentic Caribbean rum punch, and cruise through Grenada's stunning scenery in our unique and fun tuk-tuks. It's the perfect blend of adventure and island flavor. Book your unforgettable tour now at ride.gd or call 473-422-1011. Don't just see Grenada, experience it with Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tours today.
Are you a progressive young leader, a proactive emerging executive, a rising professional? Then you need appropriate cover for your vehicle. Introducing the Pro Motor Plan from Beacon. Car insurance that includes free loss of use, windscreen cover up to $3,500, free special perils, free accident forgiveness. Get Beacon's Pro Motor Plan today. Don't procrastinate. Call Beacon today at 440-4447 or visit beacongrenada.com.
Get ready for Ride. Amazing colours, the Experience Spice Mass 2025. This year we on the water. Packages on sale soon.
Again, Monday Night Mass with Amazing Colors. We say thank you so much for watching, guys. Thanks for being a part of our program today and every day. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Feel the beat, feel the vibe. Amazing host leading the ride. Power to the people, we shine. Giving fans what they need. Caribbean spirit, let's succeed. Every show with a good deed. Together we plant the seed. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride a sheer delight. Making waves